Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Zookeepers podcast.
I'm Kay.
I'm Davis.
I'm T.
I'm White.
I'm Shade.
And I'm Ash. We're taming life
One conversation at a time.
Episode number 2, y'all.
Hey.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
It's been a week.
I'm about to say it's been a long week.
I'm exhausted. I have work tomorrow.
Oh.
Yuck. Testing.
Yes, she does.
Oh. Testing?
No, baby. What you doing, friend?
Ooh.
Testing prep.
Testing
What,
prep.
SAT? APAs?
HGP. Yeah, APA.
Oh, y'all first.
Because
Y'all
she's
at the
such
end
a
of the month.
marvelous teacher.
Come on now.
Kay, how you feeling?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm cool. It's
Oh my
been a
God.
week though, for real, but I'm good.
Cool. What about you, Davis?
Same. Long week, but I'm good. Hanging
Yeah.
in there.
You got weekend plans?
Ooh.
No
Yes.
weekend plans for me.
Hanging on.
The weekend plan, staying off this foot.
Friend got weekend. What happened to your foot?
I almost
look
broke
that
it.
foot.
Playing football?
Yeah, playing football. Got cleated.
Oh God.
Almost broke my foot.
Kate was out there in them dukes.
Been on crutches all
thighs
week.
was
I really
fine.
wasn't. I had on sweatpants.
We're going to reel y'all back in.
But
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
reel it back in. She talking about thighs and
I said the thighs was fine.
they really wasn't. I had on full sweatpants this time, but I've been on crutches all week until today.
That sucks.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
that does suck. But I'm glad it's Friday
Amen. to
Thank
that.
God.
Hallelujah.
and we're going to blink our eyes and it's going to be Monday again. But that's not a problem. It's okay. You know?
Palm Sunday though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Getting
yeah.
ready for
It's going to be
Easter.
a great weekend.
What y'all doing for Easter?
Going to church.
Church.
Correct.
That's it.
Y'all still go to
Sleep.
sunrise service or do y'all have regular service?
Our service is at 7 a.m. So
Ooh, y'all lucky.
7 to
We
what?
be up at the crack
7
of
to
dawn.
7?
no, not 7 to 7, friend.
Okay.
Who church is that long?
The church that she doesn't go to. The church that she doesn't go to.
For real.
Listen, church is
It's in the heart.
a building, okay?
Speaking of church,
It's in the
right
heart.
here could be church. You hear me?
You know, the Bible
Amen.
says we are the
You don't know
church.
where I go.
church,
In my
yes.
car.
Church.
but speaking
I
of
have
church,
church every morning.
okay. Every time I say speaking of church, you say something.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I go to church every morning.
Well, speaking of church, guys, we're doing something new at my church. We're a bilingual church, and we got a lot of young people who speak English who don't really understand the sermons in Creole. And you're looking at the translator.
Come on now.
Okay. One time for the translator.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so
We need to treat
The
us
Lord's
all.
word.
we started on Sunday. It was
The
very
Lord's word.
nerve-wracking, but we got through it. Yes, translating the sermon
Add that to the resume.
as the pastor preaches. That's wild.
Add that to the
what's up.
resume.
Yeah.
That's lit.
So
That's good. Congratulations. In the best way.
So you were doing sign language?
Sign language. She's translating.
Trans.
What are we talking about right now?
This girl says
She is translating the sermons. I'm assuming that's in Creole
live, yeah,
into
from Haitian
English,
to Haitian Creole
so
to
that
English.
the kids could understand it.
Okay.
they ain't deaf.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm literally preaching.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen
Let
to
them use you,
that.
friend.
Yes.
Let
Oh
them use
God.
All right. So our topic tonight, guys, blended families.
Blended families.
Any of us part of them? Any of us know them? Audience, you know them? You're part of them?
You know
Yeah.
some blended
Drop
families,
your
Lord?
comments. Let us
No
know
blended
how you
families.
feel.
You know a lot of blended families.
For sure.
And so I guess we're going to lead with the first question tonight. Should you consider accept a step sibling that doesn't consider or accept you?
So it's not an acceptance of the situation. It's if they don't accept you.
Right. Like, I come from a blended family. I have step brothers and step sisters, but I don't know. I don't use the word step, so I say brothers and sisters, but it feels like if I'm not reaching out, then they're not reaching out. And if I don't reach out, then it's the whole, like my sister in New York, she's like, oh, I'm grown. You got to reach out to me. If I don't reach out, then it's a problem.
But we both
Grown, right? So I understand that.
So that's where the question is coming from. Like, should you consider those siblings that don't consider
I have
you?
a brother outside of my siblings from my mom, but he's my brother. I don't call him my stepbrother.
Correct. Same with me.
Yeah.
But would you can't necessarily consider him your stepbrother because that's your dad's kid.
I mean, but at the same time, I wasn't.
I think she's talking about like you talking about like from like a relationship standpoint.
We're talking. I think
Unrelated-
Ash is saying
unrelated.
like, let's say
Stepbrother.
your mom gets married to a guy who already has kids.
Right.
His kids are technically considered your stepbrother sister.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what Ash.
That's where I'm coming
that
from.
far.
Because
That far.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's how it is.
Oh well, then no.
Because y'all know my dad is not my biological dad, right? I made that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
My mom is in the same situation.
my dad had 3 other kids prior to marrying my mom. So they both brought in children. It seemed like
Okay, go ahead.
no, I don't think it's the same. Because your brother is
She
your,
said her dad's not her biological
Oh,
dad.
the biological
Yeah,
dad.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I get what you're
My biological dad died when I was 6.
saying. Gotcha.
So my dad is
Your
who
dad.
stepped in and stepped up.
Right.
But it seems like my mom's kids were more accepting of his children or considerate of his children and, ushering them in than they are to us or to me at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the question. Like, how would y'all handle that?
I grew up with a stepsister. I had 2. But my dad, so I'm the only child from my father, and then my stepmom had 2 kids. So, I mean, it was an interesting dynamic until it wasn't. So, I think the younger we were, the more accepting of things, and then the older we got, it became like their problems flowed to our problems. So, everything that happened between them, unfortunately, and it was 2 of them, so everything kind of flowed down 2 against 1.
Right.
And so I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen my dad. My dad is like the same complexion as Kay, and my mom is very fair skinned, but I didn't grow up with my mom.
You grew up with your dad.
But my dad and my stepmom was also dark skinned. So everybody looked at me like where I came from.
You were out of place.
Yeah.
Why you ain't pointing at Tierney?
Your complexion.
She said your complexion has nothing to do with me.
I'm crying.
That's like me saying,
She talking about you and pointing at me. She gonna say,
I'm pointing to the one who's closest.
Screaming.
Or darker.
you the closest complexion to her daddy.
That's it. That was what you said.
Okay.
Kay feels so weight. She
does.
Like your skin complexion.
That's like me saying, David said, hey, why would she point at me?
Right.
Okay. Okay. But anyway, it was interesting because, like I
She
said, the older we
apologized.
got, we just kind of separated.
Yeah.
But it was cool until it didn't work.
Yeah.
So at what point do you draw the line? Like when there are kids involved, right? We have a son, they have children. Like at what point, you would want them to grow up
Yeah.
knowing each other.
Right.
We do come together for certain activities,
Right.
holidays, whatnot. So at what point do you guys think you draw the line on the whole considering thing? Because I'm to the point now I don't call them.
Like considering the parent? That's what we talking about?
No,
The
considering the
step-sibling.
sibling.
Oh,
The sibling.
Relationship.
That's kind of tricky, but I do feel like when parents kind of step in and take their feelings and kind of involve it in what they've been through, it kind of makes the child or the kid suffer.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, why wouldn't I be able to know who my cousins or
My
whoever
cousins,
they are?
right.
So I think sometimes the adults like once they get older, okay, it's fine that y'all may not want to talk to each other every other day or talk to each other every day or have a relationship, but I think the kids should still have that choice to get to know their family.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. For sure. I don't really have a lot of like comments on it because I've never experienced it. But I just think when you blend families I think in order to have like some type of copacetic between the families, like you have to do stuff with the kids. You can't just
Right.
like throw them to the wolves and say, this your stepsister. Like you got to do stuff that incorporates everybody so that you get a feel for people. Because I know if that was me, I'd be like, who is this? And
Right.
why do you want me to be their friend?
Right. And that's how kids are. 'Cause they
Yeah.
want to know like why we got to be friends.
Right. Why do I got to follow them on Instagram?
And you know what? I never thought about it like that because me and my brothers, we have a better relationship than me and my sister, but that's simply because we practically grew up together.
Yeah.
So we went through middle school together and high school together before my brother moved to New York. This sister just popped up in the picture like
Yeah.
a couple of years before my mom passed. So she was an adult with her own kid at the time. And yeah. So you saying that makes me think in hindsight, like she was an adult coming into this
The
situation. Right. So,
I do think it's easier when they're kids, though.
I think
it is, and that's why I had to just
Yeah.
come to that realization just now. Like me and my brothers, we were children,
Yeah.
whereas she was already in her 30s.
Oh,
well, she felt like
she was grown,
well, ain't no point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm grown.
That's why she said I'm grown. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
kids.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way. So, piggybacking on what we were just talking about, like T just said, she doesn't use the word step. I don't use the word step as it relates to our siblings.
Right.
Now let's go into the whole blended family with children, right? Yourself as parents. Are you okay? Like, would you be okay with your child not considering the other parent of your ex as a parent and not use the term step towards that parent?
Again, I think it come down to comfortability. Like, I'm pretty sure as a kid, the more you're around somebody, you grow to eventually like them. So I think it come down to comfortability. Eventually, they just stop saying, "Oh, that's my stepmom," and eventually, depending on the dynamic of
The relationship.
with your biological mom, that may change. And then it come back to the adults too. Sometimes you have parents that the mom and the stepmom be beefing, so that plays a part too. Like, if mom and stepmom not beefing and it's all copacetic, no issues, I don't see why the kid would not.
And sometimes the
consider
kids
that.
will still address that person as like, "Oh yeah, my stepmama coming," but to them, talking to them personally, they still probably call them their first name.
Yeah, or
They
like,
still probably
that's
know
Miss
that that's my
Taylor.
stepmom. But
Yeah.
if I'm talking to you, it's kind of like, "Oh, Taylor, you coming to get me?" That, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes that's just how it is. Like I don't think a lot of kids refer to the word stepmom or stepdad now.
It's either like Miss something, like Miss Ash,
Yeah.
or Mr. whatever.
Yeah.
Cause some of these kids don't be caring what be going on anyway.
They don't.
They don't care. The kids are innocent. They don't care.
Yeah.
I agree. For sure.
I like that. I like that we think that the kids are innocent, and I think that it should possibly, if adults want to be adults, then that's how it should be. But I know that's not always the case for some of the kids that are in these situations.
So can I ask you a question?
There can be very aggravated bio parents. There can be aggravated by
I get.
step parents. Yes.
How long did it take you to switch? Did you ever call your dad stepdad at any
No.
point? So you always called him dad?
I've always from day one.
Was that like a respect
But
thing?
because my dad died when I was 6, So when my mom remarried, I was 8. And he came from Haiti. I was probably 10 or 11. But to be quite frank with you guys, my dad has been in my life forever. So him and his first wife were friends with my mom and my biological dad. So my dad died in 96. His wife died in 97.
Oh, wow.
And so he was originally here, and his wife got sick, and so he went back to Haiti. While he was in Haiti taking care of his first wife, his papers got expired, so he was there. His wife ended up dying, and so him being friends with my mom, they had a conversation, and he pretty much told my mom, like, hey, why don't we just raise our kids together? And so my mom did the whole paperwork and stuff, all of that, to get him here. And so she did the filings and what have you, and he came here with his 2 sons.
Nice. That's beautiful.
And so it's the dad.
So let me ask you, so was it just for the kids initially, or they?
I mean, I don't know. I was a kid, right? So like, we don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there has been people who, in the back of their minds, probably are like, well, did they have something going on prior to, like?
Because that was kind of soon.
I mean, a year after? Well, 2 years after my dad's passing, 1 year after his first wife. I don't know. I don't think that's unusual.
No, I'm not saying it was. I didn't say unusual.
You said it was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it depends.
For them to be so close, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they already knew each other because they've been friends. So
True.
Yeah. Like when we used to go visit to Haiti, we would go to their house and stuff.
Right.
Friend, you're so quiet.
Oh, I'm just receiving information, I should say.
Can I shake the table real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So being that you and Ash are couple friends too. Let's say hypothetically it's a similar situation like your mom.
Wow.
Yeah, I ain't see that.
Would y'all be okay with that?
you should the house.
Be okay with what?
Hold on, let me switch.
She shook the house inside the house.
I need White to respond. So let's say hypothetically.
That'll get White talking.
It would. Let's say hypothetically, right?
No.
What do you mean?
She probably would. Let's say hypothetically it's a similar situation, right? Where let's say either you or your husband passed, right? Or you and your husband passed, right? Would y'all be okay?
No. No.
I already knew what that answer was gonna be.
Absolutely not.
I just had to ask.
Oh Lord.
I had to get a reaction out of the way.
No.
She been sitting over here like
Just quiet.
Like
No.
a
She's
passenger
very
princess.
quiet.
Very put up today.
No.
It's a hard no?
It's a hard no.
Okay. I
No,
should
and it's an
respect
easy.
that.
But then wait, we just had an episode.
I was very clear when I said no.
She was like, after 10 years, friend. Not after 10 years, friend.
For what?
So if you know if that was your ex.
Yeah, no, I said no. I said no.
That's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I said no. But I was really thinking about like the whole you calling your mom's husband dad, right? Or like children calling their step parents without the step. And I have a problem with that because you have one mother.
Okay.
So I would feel some type of way if my husband remarried and my children start calling her mom because that's not your mom, especially if your mom is still alive.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I feel like because they're my children, and in a sense I can be very possessive with things that belong to me, I will feel slighted because these are my children.
Right.
I don't have any problem with you putting step in front of it, but it is Miss So-and-so.
Right.
But at the same time, I have sisters that are not my dad's. They're my mom's children, and they call my dad dad. And I don't have a problem with that because like Ash, my dad raised them.
Right.
So they call my dad dad and they call their dad dad. So I'm like, am I biased in a sense to where I don't see any wrong in my sisters calling my dad dad?
I don't think you biased. I think you just know that if that was to ever happen to you, no, this is what I want.
Right.
You can call her whatever her name is, you know, still be respectful, but at the end of the day, I'm still your mom.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like you're being biased just because your siblings decided, or you know, it's fine with calling your dad dad.
Because even with my mother-in-law, like I'll call her Miss her name.
Right? You don't call her mom.
I don't call her mom
Because you got a mama.
because I have a mom.
Right.
Yeah.
And I try to like say it, but then
Awkward.
yeah. And my mother-in-law is great. And yeah, I still feel uncomfortable, and I'm pretty sure she'll welcome it with open arms. But as a mother,
Yeah.
I feel slighted towards my mom by calling someone else mom in a sense.
What if the parent is absent?
See, then I feel like that's different. But even still, and I'm looking at my sisters, their dad, in a sense,
Is present.
were absent.
He was absent.
And they still respected their dad and called their dad dad and my dad.
Do you think it's do you think for you it's because your kids are not like young at this point, or would it have been the same if they were put in that situation as like 1 and 2 year olds where they're
See, if they're babies, they don't know any better. But if they're in school, they know.
right? So do you correct them as babies, or do you allow them to be
Babies.
comfortable? Because for
If
me,
they're my
there's-
children,
yes, because for me, it's a sense of comfortability.
I don't want my kids to be that
I was just about
comfortable.
to say that. I'm in a similar situation like that. My stepdad raised me. He's my youngest brother dad. So he raised me, but as I got older, I stopped getting comfortable calling him dad. Because that when I'm younger like this, I didn't know
That's
my
all
real
you
dad.
knew, right?
So, and he was, helped. I was with my mom, obviously, so he was there. But as I got older, I don't feel comfortable calling him dad.
But do you still
Did
respect
something
him as
happen?
like a fatherly figure per se?
That's a deep question.
But even like my
Respect
sisters, they
Him, I respect
So
him.
may that be
period.
biased?
But it comes
But I
back
don't
to
see him
comfort.
as my father anymore.
It comes-
I never did then, but I just knew he was the father figure. It was just an emotional disconnect. So, but I called him dad because that's what I knew then.
Right.
But now, I respect him, of course, but the relationship is not father-daughter.
Right.
But my sisters are adults now, and my dad is their dad. Even like my youngest sister, my dad raised her since she was a baby too. So that is her dad. And then I have a sister that's older than the youngest sister, and she was maybe 7. No, she was probably like 8. And she called my dad dad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but she also calls her dad dad.
Right. Yeah.
But my dad's children, they were raised by their mother. So my mom is by her first name.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
And my dad is their dad.
yeah, that makes sense.
Because what would be the point of me calling you mom if I got a mama? I mean, I get where you coming from. Like, what is the point of me going to somebody else?
Yeah, that's not out of the ordinary. It's just what's comfortable.
What's
Yeah,
yeah.
but like, it goes back to comfort.
Yeah.
But as she's speaking on it, like as she's saying it, it's
makes
kind of
sense.
like
It makes
making
sense.
sense. Like,
It
yo,
makes
why would I
sense.
go to this lady and call her mom if I got my mama? So
Right.
that is, that's.
Yeah, that's all. It kinda
So do you believe that they have to be married in order to consider them stepmom?
yes.
They can't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's technically what it means,
yeah.
That's what it
like,
means.
legally.
Legally,
Yeah.
you're a step parent.
But a lot of our communities, we don't, you know what I'm saying, get married and they still start calling the other person mom or dad.
Oh, no,
No.
I didn't.
I couldn't see myself. In
That would be
situation.
wild.
It would.
I think it's probably
But that was
just
my
us.
situation. My
I
mom
think-
wasn't married to my brother's dad, but they was together like 10 plus years. So, but they just wasn't married. But I still consider him my stepdad,
Got it.
and I still called him dad.
I guess there are layers,
Yeah.
right? There's layers. Because to me, we're dating or we're not married. It's not constant. Like, it's not set in stone. Like, you can walk out. I mean, married people can walk out, but
Legally though, yeah.
yeah.
Still, you're still gonna be dad and mom. So.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting though.
It is interesting. So we're gonna deviate a bit. I guess this is White's take, right? To what extent should children pay for the sins of their parents?
That's tough.
Explain that, right?
So, let's say your dad, right? Your dad did your mom wrong. And now, because your dad did your mom wrong, your mom has this resentment towards you for the sins of your father. So, to what extent do we hold our parents responsible for that?
I can.
That's what I meant. Is that
I can attest to that a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. So, like I said, I never knew my dad, but my grandparents, my paternal grandparents, stayed in Fort Lauderdale. So, my mom, I don't know the story, but for some reason I was never around because I got other siblings on my dad's side that I just happened to meet one day going to visit my grandparents. So, anywho, so he passed away. Then they had like a conversation. I remember I was in high school as to who was the blame for me not seeing my dad or being around the paternal side of my family. So my grandma saying it's my mom, my mama saying it's my grandma, but I know my mom felt some type of way about my dad at the same time. So it's like I felt like she didn't want me around, you know what I'm saying, because she felt some type of way about him. That's what I felt. Not now, but then when I, found out everything. But
Yeah. That's tough.
so was that fair to me? Nah.
No.
And then, like I said, he passed away.
Yeah.
Never met him.
I think
never get a
that's
chance
where, the adults have to be adults,
Yeah.
right? And gotta set them feelings to the side.
But that goes back to the original conversation we were talking about, the blended
Families,
like the
yeah.
families. Because a lot of times adults let their emotions and how they feel about the situation and not realizing like how much it affects the kids.
Right.
Like, yeah, you may hate him or her, but at the same time, does your child deserve to know who these people are?
Right.
Because now this child that you're
Let us make the
raising,
decision if you
right, the
yeah.
child that you're raising has to grow up trying to figure out who's who.
Right.
So it's kind of like, okay, if I tell you the backstory, if I let you know what happened and what's going on, and you make that decision as the child, then okay, now that decision sits in your lap. But for you to just solely say like, oh, don't worry about who that is, then you gotta this your daddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not fair. You know what I'm saying?
And we can also apply it to the question we were asking about, are you okay with your child calling somebody else mom and dad?
But I think they're only okay with it
Because the mama says okay.
because the mama is okay with
Or
it.
the dad
Yeah.
says
You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, okay, if I decide that your biological daddy is no longer going to be in your life, then of course, whoever I'm dating or married to, you can call them father, dad, you can call them
But it's
Superman.
like White
You
said,
can call them whatever.
she already letting it be known that's not happening.
Right.
Strong though.
So
Well, I say this, my take on like kind of what you said, Kay. Like I said earlier, I didn't grow up with my mom. So my mom and my dad had stories, like to this day they still differ of why they got divorced and all that kind of stuff. But I just had my dad in my life, and then I had a stepmom. I would call my stepmom mom, but then we ended up having a rocky relationship as I got older. So it kind of went back into like, now my dad is remarried to somebody totally different, but I don't even call her stepmom. It's like, yeah, after that, everybody get their first name. It was like, I'm not doing that no more. Everybody, right?
Mama step two step mama.
So, but to kind of piggyback on like the sins of your parents, my parents never got along until like maybe a couple years ago. They never got along.
Wow.
So like I never had them in the same room, but because of that, My mom missed my graduation. My mom didn't show up to any of my events because
Wow.
she didn't want to see my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
So I paid for all of that.
Yeah.
Like, because they didn't want to see each other, my mom missed out on everything. But she opted not to come. She got an invitation, but she opted not to come.
But just you still paying for it.
But still, and then to this day, I have a sister, a biological sister. We don't speak. I talk to my mom every day, and my sister and my mom live in the same house. And me and my sister don't speak. Because it's issues between my dad, our mom.
So she chose to side.
And her
She chose sides. So it's a hard dynamic. And she's my big sister.
Yeah.
Whose side
So-
you chose?
So like how for Davis and Kate, how does that affect y'all dynamic with y'all siblings? Because like for Ash situation is different because she had an older sister who was pretty much an adult, whereas the rest of them was younger. They got a good relationship. How does that affect y'all, considering that y'all actually kind of somewhat grew up with some of them?
Ain't
Not
grow up
all
with
of
none
them.
of them.
Well, how did that affect
Yeah.
y'all dynamic? Like as
Well,
adults now, are y'all cool with some of them, all of them? Like how did
You go ahead first, Kay.
It's weird for me, to be honest. I'm cool. Yeah, we cool. Yeah, I know all my siblings. I have an older sister, then it's me. Then I have two twin sisters that I never met, and then I have a younger sister, younger brother. I was the second one. So it's I don't want to say traumatized. It's traumatic for me to even be around them sometimes because they got to experience my dad and I didn't. So it kind of like made me feel weird a little bit. So like I can like spend time with them, but it's like talking to them and being around, having to be around them for a long period of time. It makes me feel some type of way.
So does your dad come up in conversations? Is that the trigger, or just being around him, period? Oh, wow.
Like my dad, youngest two, he was married to their mom.
right?
And then, so you know when your parents pass, you're supposed to get whatever, like part of the life savings or whatever. So my a letter came to my house, and my mama wasn't home. I was like, Mom, can I open it? It had my name on it. I was 13. She was like, yeah. So I'm just like reading. So it's like, well, according to whoever, it wasn't documented that you was his child. So mind you, he's not here no more, so I can't even ask no question. My mom, that's a whole nother story. Like, is she like emotionally I feel like she don't like to talk about it because she avoids it a lot. But she's like, no, don't listen to that. That was that's your dad. So it's a lot of questions that I got. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he's not. It's just a matter of like, I just read this 13, never met him.
Yeah.
I see my siblings. I know y'all spend time with them. So it's like a little traumatizing a little bit. But I'm cool with them. Ain't no beef or nothing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't even talk to my sister. Like
Your biological sister.
my biological sister. We never see each other. My mom comes to visit. My sister does not come. My sister has no kids. So my kids are her only babies. My kids don't talk to my sister. We just don't have a relationship.
Dang.
It really tore anything that we could establish as sisters apart.
Yeah.
Like, I will say this, my mom is one of my best friends now. We talk every day.
Likewise.
But I will say this, and it's kind of crazy to think though, I never understood my mom's point of view until I had kids and I got into the same situation. But I'm very different from my mom. I would have never opted to not be a part of my kid's life at all.
Right.
But we're different. Yeah, but me and my mom are different. But I can understand as a full adult where she's coming from versus when I was a child. Because when I was a child, why aren't you here?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? My daddy is here. Like, why aren't you here too?
I think that also curves the experience that you're going to provide for your children.
Oh, for sure.
Like, even though you can understand her position, it going through the situation as a child makes it to where you don't want that for your kids.
Oh, I overcompensate.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are spoiled beyond belief. And I really could do half of what I do and they would still be spoiled.
Yeah.
But I overcompensate just because in the back of my head, I'm like, I gotta be a good mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are a good mom. Thank you.
Y'all some good moms too.
So I think that leads us into our
Thank you, Kate.
feeding time question. I guess we're gonna move around a little bit because you just said something, Davis, about you and your sister, biological sister, not being on speaking terms. And our question tonight is, what haven't you forgiven your sibling for?
Well, that's simple for me. Taking sides. We were too young, and we didn't know anything what happened between them. So
Yeah.
I wish she would have never chose sides. And I feel like she kind of pinned me against the wall and made me choose sides. And I will always explain, it's easy for you to do it because that's your mom, that's our mom, but this is my dad. So you're pinning me against both of my parents. And honestly, it was an uphill battle with my dad too. I used to have to argue him down, like, that's still my mom.
Right.
So I wish my sister never put me in the position to make me feel like I had to choose, because at that time, I only felt there was one decision, and I felt like I had to back my dad 100%.
Yeah.
I'm like, he raised me. What do you want me to do?
For sure.
Anybody else?
My brother messed up a pair of my shoes when I was in high school.
Wow.
I'm still mad about it.
A parachute.
Yeah, it's, you know.
He waited till I went to school.
Which brother?
TJ.
Dang.
Name dropping that one. I was in high school. Well, I was in high school. And he was in middle school. So he waited till I got on the bus and left.
No, creased them up, huh?
And there was some shoes I had got from New York. I couldn't even get them no more. Yeah, he wore them and tried to sneak them back in the house, but the type of shoe it was, he hadn't got them messed up. He couldn't even clean them.
Did he like do the tiptoes, crease them up good?
He just messed me up.
Dang,
With that.
TJ.
That's tough.
Your sister has
Still
not
mad.
forgiven you.
She's still mad about that.
To this day.
Still mad. Yeah.
Dang.
Does he know you mad about the shit?
He does now.
He knew I was
You
hot.
didn't give him an opportunity to apologize.
No.
This is an
Still
open floor.
mad.
TJ, come to the front. Apologize.
You better go find
Still
him.
mad.
Anybody else want to
What was the
confess?
question again?
What
haven't
haven't
I
you forgiven your
again?
siblings for?
Hey, y'all ain't doing nothing to me. Y'all good.
Y'all believe that?
Y'all good.
My siblings got along
Shout
well,
out, Jason.
so
Come on.
All right.
Well,
I love my brothers.
tell you a little bit about what happened to me. It's similar to what Davis said, like with your siblings picking sides. So when my parents got a divorce, I want to say I was maybe 17 turning 18. I was getting ready to go to college, and I was registering for my FAFSA. And at the time, my dad made too much money. So the only way I could get FAFSA is if I used my mom's information. Well, since they were getting a divorce and I sided with my dad, my mom made it clear that I was not going to use her information to get
FAFSA.
the Pell Grant. So I went to my older sister, who was supposed to be neutral, who I felt was my big sister. And I said, hey, look, can you get mom's information for me so that I can go to school? And she was like, yeah, she told me that she doesn't want you to use her information, so I don't feel comfortable giving it to you. And I was like, well, what happened to you being my big sister first? Like, I thought the sisterhood came before the
Right.
the
because
mother
they ain't
daughter.
known us. Like,
Yeah.
what
That
they decided
what
to
they're
do.
going through
Right.
has nothing to do with us. And
Right.
if you love me
And
enough,
they're
then
suffering.
you should want to help me.
Right.
And in this circumstance, I felt that I needed my big sister, and she was like, yeah, no, I can't help you. So when she did that, that made me look at her completely different, because I would never do that to my sister.
Yeah.
To not have
Not a straight up no anyway.
yeah,
Right.
it was
At
immediate.
least try.
No, it was like, yeah, no, she told me
Hey, Mom,
that
where your paperwork at?
I couldn't give it to you. And I'm like, she'll never know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't talk to her unless you tell her.
Unless you tell me.
Right.
How would she know?
Man, what's your social security number?
And she was like,
Correct.
yeah, no, I don't think I could do that. I just don't want to be involved in it. And I kept going back to like, but how would she know unless you told her?
Right.
Unless you secretly didn't want me to go to school.
Right.
Or what was that? Did you have some sort of hidden agenda
Animosity.
to where you were mad that I did side with dad? You were mad that I was trying to go to school.
Yeah.
And here I am asking you to help me further my education. And it was so easy for you to say no.
I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. So, long story short, my dad did end up having to pay for 2 years of my tuition until I was able to talk to like a financial advisor in some way that I got FAFSA and I was able to complete school or whatever. But yeah, I still haven't forgiven her to this day about it. And I do bring it up to both my parents here and there, and I bring it up to my sister, and she's like, yeah, she apologizes, but it's like in random ways. I'm sorry if I ever did anything to you. And I'm like,
It's not
So it's not-
specific.
Right.
Yeah,
You
not
know
taking
what you did.
accountability.
yeah. I'm like, I need you to be more specific as to what you're apologizing
And the fact
for.
that you've been so verbal about it too, it's like, be specific.
Be
like
specific
if I say
about
this bothers me,
what it
apologize for this. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so yeah.
I don't have anything.
You and your siblings cool.
For the most part, yeah.
The shade
Okay, well,
house
give
be
us
rocking.
give us a light little something. They ate your
The
food.
shade house be
For real.
rocking,
Somebody
boy.
did something. Ate your food or something.
Say they got nothing.
Ain't nothing but the sun shining over that house over there.
They ain't got
Oh,
nothing.
man.
No shade.
No shade.
No
They're
shade.
covered by
No
the blood.
shade.
baby.
I know that's right.
They covered by the blood.
I don't be beefing with my sisters. I'm the one that's kind of like, they do something. I'm the quiet one. I'm not addressing nothing.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 2. I'm in the middle.
Okay.
I got an older sister, a younger sister. My little sister, we wear the same size clothes, the same size shoes, everything. So if I had a complaint, it would probably be that. Like, stop wearing my stuff.
See, she understand.
Please. And then bring it back and put it back where you got it from. But yeah, other than that, I don't be having no beef with my sisters. They know the vibes
good.
with me.
I'm happy for you and T.
Love that for them.
I love
They just know him struggling.
Yeah.
for me,
Trauma.
Trauma. Capital T.
I think when Arthur died, I'm name dropping. My older brother, my only biological sibling. I had to go ahead and forgive
Yeah.
anything that was probably a bother
Yeah.
that year or years prior. But I will say, I mean, I'm gonna try to make light of it. I probably have not forgiven him for leaving us. You know, it's been hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, people are like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, he ain't had no choice. But yeah, that was a big pill to swallow, especially now watching his son grow up and he not be present. Yeah, I'm mad at you for leaving us like that.
I can't look at you right now. You're going to make me tear up.
I'm not trying to make nobody cry
Yeah.
or feel no type of way, but that's probably one of my biggest things that I get
Only
so
because I know
frustrated.
your heart in that situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
I get very angry sometimes, and like the people, my friends at work, y'all see me sometimes. Like I look over at my nephew, and I'm just like, just know how that would be
No name
if,
dropping.
if
sorry.
yeah, we gonna have to bleep that. I just know how that would be if he was present,
Right.
and so another black boy without a father is crazy out here in these streets.
So,
I understand it.
Yeah, so.
wow. That's heavy.
But I guess prior to him passing, there would have been a lot of stuff that I probably would have been pissed off about. I'm mad you put my mama through all the stuff you put her through, but like,
Yeah.
anyways, because I feel like that was becoming a dark cloud.
Well, can I go throw one more out there?
Yeah.
So all my daddy unborn kids, y'all should have survived because homeboy is stressing me out.
Oh my God.
I mean,
That's the
stressing me
unborn.
out.
She say the unborn.
Stressing me out.
Well, what happened to the Davis?
Wait a minute.
Nothing. He just never had more
Can
kids.
you explain that?
He is stressing me out.
Wait.
I thought you meant like.
Oh no, not like that. Not like
the
that.
ones he just didn't have.
No. Like he just never had another
Just
kid.
hypothetically,
Let me say that better.
Your dad's unborn?
No. Like he never had another kid. So
that you know of, or
David.
he is stressed. You know, the man is stressing me out here.
you need a
I
sibling
need a
to take on
sibling.
that weight.
Yeah, it's hard out
Are you
here.
talking to
What happened?
She's not talking to possibilities.
No,
It's not like
not
they were in
that.
the womb. Like none of that.
None of that.
No.
None of that. Also,
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
She talking about the dead eggs that
That's what I'm
wherever
saying.
they at, and his dead
Just-
sperm.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Get it
Talking about the. That's
Cause
what that
Jesus,
means.
that
Next
man.
question.
That lightened up the mood.
There you go.
But the
They even look at the camera like they can hear you. My dad is
If
unborn.
you're watching right now,
You.
Make something of y'all.
I thought she was gonna say the kids that he
not
had
kids.
that she don't. That
That's
she
all.
don't know.
God, no.
The unborn.
The way
say
you look at
something.
that
If that
camera like somebody was
man-
gonna actually respond to
No,
that.
if that man had more kids, y'all would know for sure. Cause then I'd be around here acting like a spoiled
That was
brat.
funny.
So speaking of
try.
forgiveness,
I try.
this question just came to mind. Would y'all go no contact with a sibling?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I go no
Do
contact
it.
with anybody.
Anybody. My own damn
Anybody.
mama.
for me it depends.
I'm about to say yeah, it depends on me too.
Cause I'm
With my
I'm
brothers on my
very-
mama's side, no. Just
On the other side?
yeah.
Wait, what was your answer?
Step siblings.
Yep.
Immediately.
Okay, I thought we was on the same page. Okay.
Yep.
I just gotta make
this
sure me
question
and
based
White
off
still
experience, because I don't
It
think so.
depends
I'm
for
about to
me.
say, I don't know.
I gotta protect me.
I'm very
I'm with
I
that.
gotta protect me. I gotta protect my children.
I'm with that.
I mean, we done got into it to where we don't talk sometimes, but I mean, yeah,
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm big on the family you come from is important, but not more important than the family you create.
create.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So
That's
I'm
the
with
bar.
You. Yeah, I'm with you,
Absolutely.
White, with that. Like,
That's a bar.
protect me, protect the family.
Family that I created. Yeah.
And I'm talking about siblings on both sides.
Correct.
for sure.
Oh,
My
so
si-
we're talking about that.
Is that
my
going back to them doing
siblings,
something?
my siblings, my husband's siblings, it
Yeah.
does not matter. Like,
Yes, it does not matter.
I'm protecting the Jean-François right
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
Yeah.
keep
I
it
100% agree.
100%.
Yeah, there's a big bubble. We live in a very big bubble.
Oh, for sure.
And
for sure.
I didn't always think like that though. That came with a little bit of experiences that I had to be like, you know what? If it doesn't affect 2840, it's not important.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us with forgiving hearts, with just good people, like big hearts, you get burned a little bit before you get to that
Absolutely.
point of
Absolutely.
now I got to pick me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, my dad set a high standard. He was a stepdad before he was a biological dad.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So my sister was in the picture, and then actually, him and my mom were raising my two cousins, and then I came along, and he set the bar really high with that. But when I flipped it on him, like when I became a step parent, and I was like, okay, no, I can't go because I have to go here, and he was like, what do you mean you have to go here? Like, yeah, this is part of my household, so I got to go support that kid.
Yeah.
I can't make it to your thing tonight.
Right.
That was not easy for him to understand, but he's like set that precedence for me to let it be known, like, if you're going to be in it, you have to be in it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can decide today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, once you're out, that might be a different story, but he set that bar for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people understand that, like, protecting your peace needs to be the number one priority, because I can't give you anything I don't have.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard.
For sure.
Another bar.
So with that, guys, I think we're coming down to the end of our episode tonight.
I feel like all Haitians love Jesus.
Move my
So,
feet.
Well, I don't know.
All the Haitians
I
love
wouldn't count that as religious.
I mean, you get what I'm
You
saying.
would consider that spiritual.
Yeah. Relationship.
Yeah.
So they're all spiritual, not religious.
It's not religious. Because religion just
So let me
creates
ask y'all, y'all
division.
ever met a Haitian that wasn't religious? Girl, shut up.
She's saying you saying spiritual.
Name one.
I know. I know. All of them love Jesus.
Right. Not one. They do.
Jesus. Jesus.
Y'all are terrible.
When you're right, you're right, kid.
Oh my Jesus. That's what they be saying. Like, come on.
What? Is there a lot of Americans that don't like Jesus?
I know a few that don't.
I'm about to say a lot of
I know a lot.
yeah.
Atheists. I drove past one on the way here.
So what is that?
Atheism.
I don't know.
Yeah, we getting off topic, y'all.
Yeah, for real.
By the way, it's a good segue out. It's a good segue out. What are y'all
Because that ain't
doing?
that ain't
Ain't one of the
that's
ones.
gonna be a whole other
I love
episode.
Jesus.
What are we asking them?
Can I address the audience? Have y'all met a Haitian that doesn't love Jesus?
I bet. Why you
Laughing in the chat.
I bet.
If you a Haitian and don't love Jesus, drop
You
a
ain't
heart.
Haitian. If you don't love Jesus, you're not Haitian. What?
Oh my!
Nah.
So y'all be riding me, right?
No. Hey, what if he said? If you a Haitian that don't love Jesus, drop a
Drop a fire in the chat.
Because you're going to hell.
For real. Especially if you Haitian. Especially if you don't love Jesus. What's wrong with you?
Man, what?
What's wrong with you?
How did we get here?
I need to close out in prayer for y'all tonight.
In Creole.
in Creole. You gonna translate?
Oh, y'all want me to pray in Creole? That's what.
This whole time I'm thinking sign language. I'm like, what? You know, ASL. Like, that's crazy.
You know what? It's not ASL.
ASL. Oh, American Sign Language. I'm like, you signing in Creole? Like,
Very, very special. I think we should end on that note.
Wait, do they have? Can they do that?
right? That's why I thought it was so
How can you
great.
sign?
In Creole.
Come on, bro.
Oh,
Be for real.
That's why I was like,
You're signing the same word.
oh, you're right.
Time to go. Time to go.
We did tell y'all it's been a very long week.
I'm thinking they put a little accent
Listen,
character on
Bruh.
the finger.
Catch us on episode
blend them
3.
families.
Blended families, y'all.
Catch
Fix
us.
them relationships.
Hey!
Let us know what y'all think about them.